But that doesn't approve the buying of another car. And yes, that's the intro to today's video. But we will buy an old Lexus, because I've heard that they are very reliable. Let's see if that's actually a fact. So there is the beauty. We just got it. We're actually in the middle of nowhere. But the car is right there is the car. Look at it. Beautiful car. So we got it in the rear view mirror right now. And we are actually in a part of Sweden that's called Svalöv. And Svalöv is a really shithole. But they have a they store cars there that can buy really cheap. So that's why we got the Lexus. It seems that always when I buy cars, I always end up in places that are very questionable. At least there are beautiful houses. And that's something positive. In the spirit of the Lexus, because it's a luxurious vehicle, of course. And let's take it back to the garage and let's see if we did a good buy. So here we are inside of the Lexus, and it has cold seats, which I absolutely adore. This has the executive package, which is, as I'm not a very Lexus type of person, I know that the executive is basically the highest option Lexus, I think. One thing about it is that it's quite cramped in here. That's the only quite a complaint I have. But anyways, we have navigation, we have reversing camera, PDC front and rear. We also have Mark Levington's audio system, which I think is a good thing. We also have heated and cooled seats for passenger, full electric seats as well. Paddles behind the steering wheel, which feels quite good. This is a 2.5 liter V6 engine. And one thing that I'm super duper impressed right away, that I have looked at this car before I bought it, so I know exactly the condition of it. This car has done 24,000 miles and it has this much oil leaks, which I think is really cool. And I don't know any other company who actually can do that. I've never looked at it. Even if I look BMWs and all those type of cars, all of them have oil leaks in the engine, but not the Lexus. I will try to drive it a little bit and feel her out, and let's see how she is basically. I mean, this car is so fucking smooth. It really is so smooth. Over the bump, suspension, everything sounds just great. The audio system is actually quite good. I don't think it has Bluetooth. It has AUX, I've seen, but it doesn't have Bluetooth. But you can connect your phone. We're going to, sorry, not info. I have something called telephone. Look into that. This car's service history is actually buying a car, of course, service history is really important. This car has had half its life, or 75% of its life has been serviced at Lexus, and after that it's been serviced by third parties. But the service history, they have taken care of the car. Right now it needs a new service. I will do a big service to it. But I have to say, the car feels unbelievably good. And if I take, for example, a BMW 3 Series with this type of mileage, to be honest, they don't hold as good as this. It's probably, when it comes to reliability, very high. But we haven't just driven the car, we have to look at the car as well to see everything. I've seen that this car has no rust. I mean, that's quite impressive, because in Sweden we have a lot of salt on the roads, and this car has basically only been driven in Sweden, so it's very impressive. I know it has some rust under the car. These cars do suffer from rust on the subframe, but this one has some rust there. But when it comes to the body, I can't find any rust, even though it has some big stone chips. Impressive, really impressive. Okay, I'm so fucking happy over this car. It runs perfectly, it's so smooth. I love the options. But before we go through the car, I think we'll do something else before we do that. We will also do actually a garage update, I think. I think we have to update what the hell is in the garage here at Auto Car Nerd Fleet. We have roughly now 4 cars, which I never had 4 cars ever in my life, and I think it's a bit too much. It's 4 old cars, okay? It's for 4 Koenigsegg or something like that, and it's a different story. But let's go through the service history of the car. We got 2 keys, which is great. We got all the documentations on it. First is the book, which actually, it smells Lexus, smells luxurious and nice. First service was done at Lexus, then after that was Mekonomen, which is actually a good big dealer thing here in Sweden where you can service the car. Here between there is a missing stamp, I know that, there is in the receipts. And here is mine. I did a service on it, I replaced the start plugs. This is actually filmed in the future, because I forgot to film a bit, I was a bit stressed that day. But in the next video you will see me replacing the pads and the discs, the start plugs and the oil filters, so on and so forth on it, which is actually quite fun. Quite a lot of work actually replacing the start plugs on it. But I did that. I need to write down the mileage. I have it in my phone. But it actually looks very good. The receipts as well. I mean, yeah, this is what happens if you have a lot of cars. Here is the oil I bought also, Mobile One. Sorry, not Mobile, Castrol I bought for Lexus. But if you look at the receipts, it's basically only service receipts. There is like no big thing that has ever been replaced on the car. The only thing I can see is the generator has been replaced twice. I think it's if I Google a little bit about them, there is actually a known problem on Lexuses that the generator breaks for some reason. But except that, nothing else. The car has been in a minor parking accident, so I think the front right side or something like that has been repainted. I don't remember exactly which one. But other than that, there was like nothing in here. Actually, this is what I want to talk about, reliability. I mean, this is just proof of how damn well built those Lexuses are. And this is something that car manufacturers, you have to give them some credit for here. For example, if you take an Audi from the same year, it would have a big, this one would be a lot thicker than it is on this Lexus. And you have to have hand it to Lexus about the quality of the damn cars. They're built to last. And there's a lot of cars you cannot say that about, which I really appreciate. Another cool thing that the owner has done was there is something called D-Tech, which is basically a paint protection. And they have done it on this car. I think it's only been done once. But it doesn't matter, it still has been done, which is great. That means somebody actually took really good care of this damn car. And it actually might be also one of the reasons why it doesn't have rusted, because it was paint protection from day one, which is great. Other than that, there is nothing more to add. So let's do a garage update and then some details about this car. So here we go. Update on the Audi. Well, I bought this last year. It had 21,000 miles when I bought it. Now we have done roughly 25, just over 25,000 miles. And what I've replaced under the time I had this car is the front brake pads. And what more have I done? I've repainted the car. Was rust on it. I changed the center screen, which was blinking. The parking sensors are also replaced, the valve cover gasket, one VVT thing which was broken, like I said, head gasket. And that's pretty much all I've done. And 2 wheel bearings in the front of the car. Now what's left that's broken on this beautiful car is the rear windscreen wiper, which is broken. The PDC still don't work, and I get an error on the air suspension, but that's actually quite a quick fix. It's a small thing, a connector that's broken on this side. Other than that, this car has actually been holding up quite good. 25,000 miles. There is still some rust on it, some rust flecks on the doors. Here is probably the biggest one. The rear wiper has stopped working after my wife drove it, and that's pretty much it. This car will be going for sale this year actually. I think I've owned one of these enough now, and I think I want something else. This will actually, the Lexus will replace this in the future. But other than that, I've been very, very happy with this car. It goes so silky smooth. You can tow things that you shouldn't tow with this. This car has towed in an Audi A6 all-road, for example, with no problem whatsoever. The air suspension on this car is just beautiful, and the overall condition on the car is actually very good for 25,000 miles. I have a kid, so it's a little bit dirty in the rear, but the seat had held up really, really nicely. Same thing with the front seats. Actually hold up actually very, very nicely. Don't forget, 25,000 miles. It looks really, really, really good. I'm actually quite happy with it. Let's pop the engine and see it as well. I actually got some horses over there. Well, that's, speaking of horses, it's 255 horsepower in this one. 3.2 liter V6 engine. As you can see, bone dry. When the head gaskets have been replaced. The oil filter plug, the plug underneath for the drain plug, is a bit broken. I did not have one to replace it last time, but the next oil service I replaced it. But this engine now with the timing chain has been replaced. It's been very reliable. It's done almost 10,000 miles now with the new chains, and works perfectly. So yeah, good update on the car. And one thing that's really sad, that somebody scraped the car. Let's go on to the next car. Yeah. Well, while we're on it, we can do an update on the beautiful let's see if we have room there. Yes, we do. On this beautiful Mercedes-Benz CLS55 AMG, which is actually the most powerful car in the fleet. With almost 550 horsepower. Oh, that sound is just unbelievable. Let's do an update on this car as well. So let it idle for like 20 minutes. So not a lot of traction. Well, update on the CLS55. Well, it's not a big update. It has been in the garage for the last 7-ish months, so the car has not been driven at all for those months, but it will be driven now in for the summer. In April it will be coming out back again in the sunshine where it should belong, but right now it's only been in like a winter storage moment. And there's only one thing that has to be changed on this car, and this is the AC condenser. The AC condenser is broken on this car, as well as the filter for it, and the AC refill, it has to be done. There is one more stuff, and it's on the valve cover gasket. I'll show you. Up the hood. I'm basically driven 1,000 miles with a new engine, so it's the replacement. But under here, these ones, but on the other side of the engine, under the filters, they start leaking again. We did not do a proper job resealing them, so we have to do that once again. Except that, the car is running great. A lot of people ask about the air suspension on this type of cars. This car has done 14,000 miles. It's on original air suspension. When it's on the winter storage, on the 7 months, been driven twice under those, not 7 months, but a couple of months. It's been standing still in that time, and the air suspension have not moved even a centimeter. Right now it's in comfort mode, it's a little bit higher, but very reliable overall, the air suspension. And I actually love this car so much. It will be fun to take it out on new adventures this year. And I love the styling still. I mean, it still looks really cool, and they have gone down a little bit more in value. This car is now 2 years when I bought it, they were roughly 20k. Now you can pick them up for like 15, even lower than that. On higher mileage ones, good mileage one are between 20-25 here in Sweden at least. So yeah, beautiful car. That's the update on the CLS55. Let's drive it a bit. Update on this one is none. Look at it. There is nothing to update. Nothing. There is a link in the description about this car, if you're wondering. And here she is behind me, the new car for the Auto Car Now channel, or one of the new cars, is the IS250. Now I filmed this car when I did film the rest of the cars, but sort of forgot to turn the mic on, so I have to do it again. So let's do a quick walk around about this beautiful car. So it's a 2007, it's a 2008 model year IS250. It has 4 previous owners, and all of them except 1 or 2 with me has been women. So it has been a women driven car. It has 24,000 miles on the clock and it works perfectly. Now we talked a lot about Lexus reliability, and this car is actually super reliable. I just replaced the rear disc, as you can see in the video, and I also replaced the start plugs, and super easy to do. But I look at for example the shock absorber. The shock absorber are still the stock shock absorber that was on this car back when this car was new, and it works perfectly. Otherwise, the exterior of it looks magnificent. I've done a quick wash out of it and put some sealant coating, but it seems that the previous owners has also polished the car. I put on the summer wheels, which looks much better than the winter tires, which were horrible. And this has the executive package, which means you get some different options. But this car has, don't forget, it's a BMW 3 Series class, and it has parking sensors, front and rear reversing camera, full leather upholstery, the Mark Levingson's audio system, the curtain that goes up and down, cooled seats and heated seats, beautiful shift pedals, electric seat with memories in the front, both sides, and electric foldable mirrors, which is actually very impressive for being a 2006 in this class. This thing illuminates, and it does it on the other side. It's broken on this side. I have to replace that. We step into the car. It's beeping because I have every time you open stuff it beeps at you. But don't forget, like I said, 2005 was this car's launch, and it has this beautiful touchscreen, which is super duper responsive, and for being that old, wow, what a system. I'm really impressed. One thing also I like is, if you're gonna reset, for example, the engine service and so on and so forth in German cars, you have to do it with a scan tool most of the time. In the Lexus you don't. You can actually figure whatever you want. For example, I replaced the oil yesterday. I've just done that. I really like that. Also had Bluetooth AUX in here and a charger. Navigation, of course. Everything is turned over here with the climate. Keyless go as well, which works also perfectly. Everything in this car works except the door list. Except that everything works. I mean, quality wise, what a fucking machine. It's so impressive. And changing the start plug was actually a bit of a challenge on it, but not that bad. Let's open the hood. Also, the engine cover is a bit broken. The clips are broken here, so I did not put it on. I need to order new clips here as well. But 24,000 miles, not a single drop of oil. Even if I look under the car, there is no oil leak. I mean, unbelievably impressive. Changing the start plug was a bit of an hassle because you have to remove this entire black thing on top of the engine. And that was actually a bit of a work, as you can see in the video, but except that, not that bad. Let's close it. And it has this beautiful white metallic color, which I absolutely adore. More videos on this car is going to come. We're going to talk a lot more about the quality of Lexus and how well they held up over the years. But I think for today it's enough. So see you in the next one. Peace.